Mama Mila from Miracle Mama TV, and is it recording? All you gotta do is press it one time. You don't press the camera button, you press that button in the back above the screen. Hey! You gotta let me know because I gotta do my introduction. Alright, hey everybody, this is Mama Mila from Miracle Mama TV, and it is September the 12th. We are having our first official Wild Topic Wednesday, and we are going to be talking about depression. I'm going to be sharing my depression experience, and I'm going to be talking about celebrity overdoses, deaths, and depression for celebrities and how it makes us feel as viewers, as people. So I'm going to wait for a few more people to log on, and then I'm going to start talking. So, of course, like I do any other time, I ask how you guys are doing. How are you guys doing? How are y'all doing since Sunday? I feel like, I don't know, like I'm trying to get a little bit of a flow going about how I'm going to do this. So I miss y'all a little bit. Like I feel like 3-4 days in between is a little bit long. Maybe, I don't know. It's like weird, but don't get that messed up. Like I have so many things that I am doing. So I'm still super busy. Don't think that I'm not on live, that I'm not busy. I'm very busy. So how's everybody doing? Is everybody doing okay? I'm trying to scroll into my Facebook stuff to kind of find my post to talk about. I'm waiting for a few more people to log on. Say hey, Petey. Say hey. Say hi. So just to clue everybody in, so now I'm not doing every day. It got to be a little bit too much, and then me and the kids got sick, so it really became too much. So now I'm only going to do Sundays. I'm going to do For the Soul Sundays, so I'm going to talk about my church service, and then current events, and then I'm going to do Wild Topic Wednesdays, where Wednesdays we're going to talk about all the crazy things that we want to talk about. And then Fridays are going to be For the Mama Fridays, and I'm going to talk about mom stuff, do a lot of breastfeeding things and talking about mom topics, specifically mom mental health and things like that on Fridays. And then Saturdays I'm going to try to record videos. I have a really fun video that I'm going to edit when I get off live. We figured out what Portrait's favorite color is today, and you have to watch the video to find out what it was and how hard it was to get her to decide. She's indecisive like mommy. Okay, so I just wanted to shout out Morgan Evans. She is cousin through marriage of mine, and she has been crowned Miss Grand U.S. Virgin Islands 2018. That is like something like so dope. I'm like so excited that she's just doing pageant things, because like I've always known her to be shy. So seeing her in that type of light is great. I just feel like there should be so much more support that we should have for black women in pageants and things like that, being that Miss USA was just crowned and she's black. Like we have to get into pageants. I know like we don't usually like it, like it's in our culture to not like, you know, pageants or think that they're creepy, but this is something that boosts self-esteem, and I think that it's something important that we should motivate and encourage the people that do take that on as something that they like to do. So it's funny because I asked a question. I said, what do you want your friends to know about your depression? And nobody answered the question. That was kind of discouraging because, interestingly enough, I feel like depression has been like a buzzword lately. Like I literally have seen depression all down my timeline for the last like week and a half. So it's strange that nobody commented on my thing. I don't know if it's because we as people who have depression, we don't really open up well or warm up well to speaking to people about our depression, or some people are depressed and don't even want people to know they're depressed. Like I'm a person that has depression that I feel like I haven't always wanted people to know I was depressed. But the more and more that I've come into doing this, I've just been trying to be transparent and be vulnerable and show you guys the true me, because you know, we live in the time of Instagram and everybody sees pretty pictures and you think everything is all right, but everything's not all right all the time. And it's just like, you think as soon as you see one little imperfection or somebody does show that slightest bit of vulnerability, it's like, oh, you lying about your life. Like, no, I'm not lying about my life. I just go through the motions like everybody else goes through the motions. When I smiled in that picture, I was happy, bitch. I might not be happy now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I feel like as a culture, we all have to come together and try to understand mental health, the different facets of it, the different, I guess, faces and masks that it can wear. And so I took the stance of writing down and collecting my thoughts as far as my own depression situation. And I wanted to share mine with everybody else, because I know that it's not something that people talk about, and it's not even something that I talk about. But I think that in the last couple of weeks, I've kind of just been looking at myself in the mirror and trying to figure out, like, what does my depression look like, and how can I fix it, and what are things that I can do within myself to try to make myself a happier person, and not making myself feel like, you know, like, oh, you know what I'm saying, my husband needs to do more to make me happy, or I need to do more things with my friends to make me happy, or I need to go on a vacation to make me happy. Like, I can do things for myself to pick myself up and dust myself off when I'm in a mood or whatever. So, personally, this topic stood out to me because of Mac Miller's death. And for people that don't know Mac Miller or haven't listened to Mac Miller, like, I'm sure you're looking down the timeline, like, who is this white boy that everybody loves so much? Like, I'm sure it's, like, really weird for y'all to see so much love and compassion from the black community for Mac Miller because of the color of his skin. But for me, as a fan of not only Mac Miller, but of music, something that's so tragic like that boy was 26 years old. Like, I grew up with Mac Miller. I feel like he grew up with me. You know what I'm saying? So for him to lose his life when we blatantly saw the depression, y'all, like, if you listen to his music, it's eerie. It gives me chills to think about how much pain this boy was in. Like, as a fan, I wish I could have called him up and been like, yo, Mac, Easy Mac with the cheesy raps, like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, just relax, take a chill pill, everything's gonna be okay. Like, your fans love you, we love you. Like, there's so many opportunities that I feel like as fans we wish that we could have to let them know how much they are loved before things like this happen. And then when we can't do that and we have to sit here and sit with these losses of people that we really don't even know. But in my mind, I'm like, yo, that's my nigga. I grew up with Mac. Like, what you mean? Like, well, this can't happen to Mac Miller? Like, no. Like, but these things happen every day. And we have to start paying attention, because me as a person who has attempted suicide when I was younger, and I mean, even since I tried, I think about it. I've thought about it over the years. And it's nothing. There's no type of person that thinks about killing themselves. There's no type of person that thinks about taking their life. Like, there's no type of person. Like, I consider myself to be a very optimistic person, but there's some days where I could be the most pessimistic person in the world, and nothing is right, nothing is good, nothing is gonna go right. Like, there's no way for me to see the happy side of anything. And people look at depression and think that it's like Eeyore, like everybody's just moping around and, like, you know what I'm saying, making it seem like it's just, oh, it's a sad day and I'm sad. Like, it's not necessarily. Y'all gonna be in trouble. Yeah, I'm not kidding. We had to talk about this. Close the door. Thank you. But I think that it's a misconception about depression that, you know, everything is, like, very cut and dry. Like, you're expecting this person to walk around with a tissue permanently attached to their face. Like, that's not what depression is. That's not what it seems like. So what I had to do is sit back and say, what does my depression look like? And really, truly Right, and it can present as anxiety too. I had to sit back and look at my depression. I have anxiety as well, but I look at it completely. I look at it completely separate. I look at my depression and my anxiety completely separate because the triggers are completely separate. But that's also, like I was saying, like everybody isn't the same. But when I looked at my depression, I'm like, okay, what does my depression look like? Like, if my friends were to come and look at me and say, okay, is Mila at a high or at a low right now? At a low, I would probably say my house is dirty. I probably like ain't showered in a couple of days. Or I'm like, I don't know, like I feel like I take a lot less care of myself. Like I care a lot less about myself. I really, when I'm depressed, honestly, and it might be a mom thing, it might not, but I engulf myself and my kids. Like, when I'm depressed, I just don't exist. Like, I'm just not a person. Like, I don't, like Tristan, she's saying not eating. Like, I don't eat. I won't eat. Like, I literally will, like, go all day and not eat anything until I have somebody watching me eat, and then I'll eat something. But it's like, not that I'm anorexic or I want to be skinny, or it's like I'm starving myself. It's like I don't have an appetite. Like, I'm in a mood. I don't feel like it. But definitely engulfing myself and my kids, that's been something that I've noticed. Like, yo, like, how could you get depressed because you somehow are missing something in your life, but then you just take everything else away? Like, and it's not something that I don't notice that I do to myself. Like, I just can't stop myself from doing it sometimes. And it's like, I'll go into moods where it's like, yeah, I'm depressed. I'm on the couch. I'm watching TV. I'm not showering. I'm just chilling with my kids. I'm taking care of my kids. We're doing arts and crafts. We're here, there, everywhere. Like, we're doing all of this stuff. And Mila wearing the same clothes for the last 3 days. Like, and the dishes are piling up. And I ain't swept. And I ain't did nothing. Like, that's what it looks like. And I'll be in the mood for like 2-3 days. Maybe, I mean, it could be 2 weeks. But 1 minute, it'll just be like, all right. No more. Like, something snaps in me that's like, no, get up, clean your house. And I have to give myself a reward. So that's one thing, if you're watching this for tips. Like, me as a depressed person, to get myself to do simple tasks like cleaning the dishes or sweeping or like showering or doing something like that when I just plain don't feel like it, like, I try to give myself a reward. And that could be like anything. Like, it could be like, okay, I'm gonna watch an episode of Once Upon a Time. I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna eat this piece of candy, or I'm gonna make myself some cookies and eat some cookies and enjoy my cookies to myself after I clean the kitchen, after I do this, after I do that, after I clean the bathroom, after I fold my clothes. Like, oh my God, my laundry, bruh, like, my laundry is like a depression within itself. Like, the bigger the pile gets, the more depressed Mila probably is. Like, and I'm not gonna touch them until I feel like touching them. Like, right now I probably have like 3 full baskets of clean clothes waiting for me to fold them. And because I've been in a funk for like the last few days, they just haven't gotten done. And it's not like I want to be sad. Like, I want to be happy. I want to be the happy person that y'all see, that y'all reflect, that y'all think that I am when I turn the light off. Like, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I got a full-blown attitude. And if you know me, like, my attitude is horrible. Like, I have a really bad attitude. Like, if I have an attitude with you, I'm like probably the meanest person ever. And I try not to be that person. Like, when I was younger and I was depressed, I lashed out. I got angry. And I would just say mean things and say them to whoever and not care and just keep it moving. Like, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, that's not okay. Like, so I internalize everything. But that becomes even more damaging to me because I'm internalizing everything. And then, for example, one of my childhood friends that put up a status, and she's like, you know, how does a person know that their friend is depressed? Like, what do you do? Because saying that your friends don't check up on you isn't fair. And, you know what I'm saying, if they don't know, or if you keep saying that you're fine, how are they supposed to know that you're not okay? And the thing is, people that are depressed spend their entire lives trying to convince everybody that something's actually wrong with them. Like, I feel like my whole life I've been screaming for somebody to hear me, but nobody's listening. So that's why you get situations where people try to harm themselves, or people are cutting, or people are doing certain things because nobody's listening to them. Or, you know, and my problem was, and I don't know, you know, there's people that have watched this that have known me for years or whatever, but me personally, I'm going to do a separate video, not a live, but a video about my suicide attempt. But when I went through that, I was 15, I was a freshman in high school, and there were so many people that were like, oh, girl, you should have called me. Like, why you didn't call me? You could have called me. Like, and I'm like, the night I tried to commit suicide, I called every friend I had in my phone. Everyone. And nobody picked up the phone. And for me, it's like, I don't know if that was because they're tired of hearing all my complaining. They don't want to hear me fuss no more. They don't, you know what I'm saying? It's like they don't feel like what I'm worried about is that big of a deal. So they, like, but being in that moment, all I remember thinking is, yo, nobody cares about me. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cared enough to pick up the phone and listen to my problems or listen to why I'm upset, so I should just not be here. Like, and there's so many times that I feel like we lose people because people are tired of hearing their problems. So that's where we get to the point where we say, y'all don't really check on y'all friends. Y'all don't really check on y'all friends. Y'all don't really care. You don't care. You just care. You care when they're dead already. You care when it's a RIP, when it's a, oh my God, I can't believe this ended this way. But you don't care in the moment when they're sharing things on Facebook saying that they want to die, or they're saying that, you know what I'm saying, they're sharing things on Facebook saying that they feel like they don't have anybody. That's not the time for you as a friend who's not depressed to go and say, oh, you ain't got friends? Oh, excuse me. That's not your opening to do that, because what that does is then tell that person that their feelings are not valid. They still don't deserve to be listened to. They still don't deserve to have somebody to speak to on their issue. They're just chalked up as, oh, she must not know. Oh, you ain't got friends? Oh, okay, well, be over there and don't have no friends. But then if 2 days later you found out that your friend, that same friend, harmed themselves, how would you feel? That's a guilt that you carry around. So then when we have these memes that go around and say, when you commit suicide, you're only passing that pain on to the next person, that's absolutely correct. That person wanted to let go of the pain and they passed that pain on to somebody else. Why? Because that person could have helped them in the moment carry that burden, but they decided not to because they didn't want to have to worry about it, or they were tired of hearing about it, or it wasn't that serious to them, or whatever the case may be. It's still not okay to label a depressed person and say, well, if you would speak up, you probably wouldn't be depressed. Or if you would say something, then maybe, you know what I'm saying, you would have the help that you want. Because, I mean, shoot, I could be depressed because my light bill is $150 and usually it's $90, and I might not have that extra $60, and it's a lot for me. And that sent me down a spiral of depression. But because I have depression, that sent me into a hole that I can't necessarily pull myself out of. That doesn't mean that, oh my gosh, she mad about a light bill, like, oh, it is not that serious. Like, I just think that we're so desensitized to emotion. We're so desensitized to just caring. Like, it's just a culture now to not care. It's a culture now to have those situations where it's just like, oh, I ain't got time for that. I got my own issues. And me, to be honest, part of my depression comes from being an empathic person. Like, being an empathetic person makes me more depressed because I take other people's issues on as my own. So when I'm sitting here crying about my cousin's issues, or I'm crying about my mom's issues, or I'm crying about my best friend issues, or whatever, I'm still crying about my own issues too. So don't look at me as a depressed person like, yo, dang, Mila ain't washed her ass in 3 days. Oh, she ain't washed her dishes. She da-da-da-da-da. Like, don't look at it as, you know what I'm saying, oh, that person need to get it together. Because when I got problems, I know how to dust myself off and get up and do it again. Maybe that person can't do that. Like, maybe it just takes them a little bit more. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's for me, it's hard because I have a husband. So it's like, to where I always hid my depression and I feel like I was good and I didn't really have to open that piece of myself up to anyone. I didn't have any choice but to show it to him because he's with me every day. Like, when you live with somebody, that's when you really truly know how they are. And I feel like maybe, well, I know for a fact the first time he ever experienced like my depression full on was when I got pregnant with Cayenne, and they told me that I had a miscarriage and I thought I lost her. I literally was under a cover for like 5-6 days, like until that 6th day, and I woke up and I was like, yo, I still feel pregnant. Like, I don't feel like what the doctor said was right. Like, I feel like I need another opinion. I was under a cover. Like, everybody was calling me like, oh, God has other plans. It's going to be okay. I'm like, screw you. I don't care. I'm crying. Like, I don't, like, there's nothing that can be good right now. Like, I don't care that I'm 20 and I shouldn't be having a baby anyway. Like, I'm depressed. I'm in a mood. Like, leave me alone. Like, let me cry. Let me do that. And it's like, no, you don't want to necessarily be a depressed person. You don't necessarily want to do that. But shoot, sometimes, like, you got to leave a person alone. Sometimes when I'm in my depressive moods, I want to be left alone because I got to get through it myself. Because I realize depending on other people's understanding isn't going to do anything but have you live in somebody else's life. You can't live by other people's advice. So I'm working on within myself, self-healing and learning how to not project the responsibility of my happiness on other people, because even when it comes to my marriage, it's like if I'm in a depressive mood about something else in my life has nothing to do with my marriage, I might come back and be like, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're supposed to be making me happy. And then it's like, that's not right, because he didn't make you sad, so why should he have to make you happy or have to fix it? So just like I said, as a person, as an individual, I'm working on trying to do better of self-healing and fixing myself and not looking for other outside things to fix me or to fill that void or to heal me or to do all of those different things. Another thing I feel like I identify with just as a person with depression is I never really tell anybody I'm good. Like, I don't, like, if you hit me up, unless I'm great and I'm really great, come in. Unless I'm great and I'm really great, good to girls. What? I know, it's a whole bunch, right? So, okay, come here. So, one of my old cheerleading friends from Waters Grove is, like, super pump a lot. And she had, like, hella milk. So, Shonda, I sent her to go get some. Look at all this milk that my little Dooney is about to drink. Look at all of the milk. Isn't it great?
Yo, and then her boobs not even
Yeah, she got little chi-chis, but they make big milks, right?
Big milks. I'm like,
I'm gonna read a couple comments. Hey, Tristan. We need to get together. I miss Tristan. Me and Tristan, I'll tell a little story. So me and Tristan, we were co-workers at Panera Bread. And my very first day of work, I remember, and Tristan, I don't know if you remember this, but they were like giving me the spill on, like, you know, you meet people at the job or whatever. So I was sitting there with her and I think it was Archie, and we were sitting at the table, and it was like you and Derek were like gonna hang out for the first time. And and it's so funny because now, like, I was sitting there at the table for all this conversation and I gave advice like, no, I think you should just go, like, hang out with them, just chill, kick it, chill, smoke, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And now they're married with a baby. Like, how beautiful. I just feel like I'm a part. She says, depression is smiling and laughing but wishing you were home in your bed hiding under covers. No, really. Literally. You're eating for the first time right now. Like, girl, I understand. Like, I literally, like, most days I only eat dinner. Tristan says, it's not wanting to be here but you feel guilty because your kids need you. Exactly. And postpartum, and I feel like postpartum, it's deeper, like, it's way deeper, and people don't talk about, like, the entire pieces, like, every piece of postpartum. Why? Because every piece couldn't necessarily, like, get your kids taken away from you, bro. Like, I mean, how many moms out there can say that they thought about harming their kids? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or you feel like you would rather not be here, like your kids would be better off without you because you're so damaged. Like, there's so many different feelings that you could have. It's not necessarily to say you believe it 100% all the time. Like, there's things that I tell myself that I don't always believe. But when you have depression, it's not always easy to pick yourself up and and do something different if you don't have the tools to do so. So like I said, that's what I'm working on now, trying to just self-heal, learn how to do it. She says, I got clothes that have been sitting in the dryer for 4 days. Oh girl, honey, I don't even touch my washer dryer myself at all. Yes, and people telling you how you should feel. Yes, I did. I saw the love blossom. Yes, like, and it's just like, I feel like postpartum, the biggest piece of it is the fact that you have to nurture a child through it. Like, you have to still be a mom, still have to be a loving person, you still have to cooch, and hey, mommy's baby, and do all this stuff. But it's like, bro, like, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, this is new to me, like, it's like, this is the baby, I want my life. Like, you have so many different things, your body isn't the same. Like, postpartum is not always cut and dry. I feel like I went through my own issues with my postpartum, mainly because of things that me and Kai were going through, but I just didn't want to blame my baby, and I felt like mentally I was doing that. No matter how much I was like, it's not Portia's fault, it's not Portia's fault, it's not Portia's fault. For like the first month and a half, there was another voice in there saying that it was. So it's just like, people that don't deal with mental health issues are never going to understand, or never going to completely grasp it until they try, until they attempt, until they want to. And it's just really like, it's really eerie because, you know what I'm saying? Like, even to sit here and be so open about this is, it's hard for me, because now I realize that it's like, now everybody's going to have a magnifying glass. Like, is Jamila depressed? Like, let me look and see if she's depressed. Like, it's not that I'm sharing this because now I want everybody to know when I'm having an issue. I just want it to be more so for anyone out there. Like, if you see your friends showing those different type of signs, like, pay attention, because, you know, I have a big support system. I have great friends. I have, you know, very few friends that are like, don't mind hearing all my mess, but there are friends that I've distanced myself from because I feel like I am that, I don't know, I've always felt like I'm that person, I'm that friend. Like, everybody has that friend. Like, that friend that calls you about their issues all the time, and you like, dang girl, I'm tired of hearing about your issues, I got my own. Like, I feel like I'm that friend. And once I get to that point, I shut down. I completely isolate myself. I'm not picking up my phone, not texting back, I'm not doing anything. Like, I would just act like I don't have a phone. Like, I don't have a phone. Like, and I will be on all types of social media, but I don't have a phone. Like, my phone will be on do not disturb. People like, what you doing? Like, and I'm used to people thinking that I'm asleep. But when this depression sleep, it's different. But then on top of that, another postpartum piece is that you don't get the depression sleep because you got to take care of a baby. So even though my depression is reflected of me being up on the couch or being in the bed all day or sitting up just not doing anything, it's like I can't necessarily do that when I have a baby. So I just think that there's so many more, I guess, indicators of depression. Postpartum is something that I feel like is a lot more common than we talk about, guys. Like, truthfully, me personally, I don't feel like postpartum is something that a woman catches, or like it's just by chance. I think every single woman gets PPD. Like, that's really I really believe that. I believe that every woman has some caliber of PPD. There's not one woman that I've met and I've talked to that's like, I didn't have postpartum depression, I was the happiest person after I had a baby. Like, never. Like, you're in such a different place in your life. You're in such a different, you're just at a different, you're at a walkway, at a fork in the road, and you're trying to decide what to do. Whether you be a good mom, whether you be a bad mom, whether you're going to be attentive or not be attentive, whether your baby's going to do this or that. Like, it's so much. There's so much to being a mom. There's no way to not be depressed through that. It's worse when you have friends, but you really don't. Yes, girl. Like this is not a shot at my friends at all. This is not a shot at my friends. But I feel like that often. Like I have a bunch of friends, but I don't have a bunch of friends. Like you don't realize how many friends you really have until you want to call somebody and talk. And really talk. Not just like, hey girl, what you doing? Yeah girl, this girl at the store was like really crazy and it was really crazy and I was really crazy. That was really crazy. Like no, you want to really talk. Like I'm going through something with my husband. I'm dealing with this with another friend, or this is happening at work, or this bill is not paid, or what. Like you really want to talk. So when you really want to talk and you really want to go through things with your friends, and either they don't want to listen, they got their own issues, and it's just like, whoa, that was creepy. Look at you popped in the camera and it said, do you want to tag Kyrie Blumen? Look at creep Facebook. Okay.
Face recognition.
Hey,
my boo. Hey.
Yes, Mia, I love you too. And only me and you gonna know why we love each other for this right here. I've learned that opening up about your depression makes you stronger. I think so too. Like this is I feel like just every segment that I do is empowering for me. So I love that everybody sends me messages, lets me know that what I'm doing is helping y'all, because it really is helping me. It's helping me heal my relationship with my mother. It's helping me heal my relationship with myself. And it's making me realize that I'm not alone, because even with this situation of depression, it's like there's so many days where I feel alone. There's so many days where I feel like I don't have nobody. Like, and it's not that I don't have nobody. It's just that I feel like my burdens are too big to share, or I feel like they're too petty to share, or everybody just got their own stuff. Like being depressed and holding your feelings in is not about y'all. Like it's not about us. Change that. It's not about us. Me keeping my depression to myself and me not sharing my feelings about my depression is not about me wanting to be sad and to show the world that I'm sad and just be this sad person. It's to protect y'all from these sad feelings that I have. I don't want to share that with y'all, so I keep it to myself. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like who wants to, like if I was Eeyore, bruh, if I really walked around every day Eeyore, expressing myself as a depressed person, no one would want to be around me. They'd be like, yo, this girl got a lot going on. She said all the time, like, what is up with her vibe? Like, so I do more than enough to make sure that my energy is pure, or my energy is at least delicate and light when I go around a lot of people, or I go around people that aren't ready to hear my problems or don't already know. Because as soon as you open that door to what's wrong and I drop everything out and you're like, dang, that's crazy, you just punch me down 2 more levels, because it just makes me feel like, oh, so I just did all that spilling and you don't have the answers either. So where do we go from here? I go back up under my covers. Like, that's just being real. I didn't realize until I had the thought, I really don't want to be here. Ashley would be better off without me. Yeah, because that's literally like the first thought you think. It's like, why would I want to give my little precious baby this sad person as a mom? Like, there's so many times. And it's just like, and Tristan, also, like, as your baby grows up, it's gonna get harder. I feel like my depression got worse. Well, worse to deal with, a lot harder to deal with as Cayenne got older, because she could verbally speak up about what she was seeing. Like, she knows when mommy not right. She knows when I'm not, like, something ain't good. Like, or if I'm sad, like, she knows. She knows, like, I'm a way more active mother when I'm good. Like, it's a difference when she come home and I'm just sitting on the couch and not doing anything, to where I'm like, come on, let's go on a hike, let's go walking, let's do an activity, let's blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm so much more of an active mom, so where when I'm depressed, I smother them in love. Like, I'm like huggy, like, come cuddle with me, come watch a movie with me, come lay, come do the, like, I just want to smother them in love, because I feel like that's what I need. So it's gonna get harder for you, and it's never gonna stop being hard, because you have somebody watching you. And that's why that thought always comes up of my baby would be better off without me, because you don't want them to watch you go through that, or you don't want to just be watched. But there's a strength that you'll find in the fact that your baby is the only person that can truly put a smile on your face. So my advice to you would be to just find comfort in your baby's smile and hold on to it, and make sure that you know that at the end of the day, you're putting on your best foot forward for Asher, and making sure that he is completely emotionally, mentally, physically, everything fulfilled. But also take the time to speak to Derek, even if you got to say like, yo, like, I'm dealing with something, like, I think I just need 30 minutes a night. Like, sometimes you got to, like right now, you see how you just grabbed the baby? Like, because I've been very, very vocal about the fact that I need some type of help. Like, breastfeeding is like I didn't think I understood the caliber of extra that exclusively breastfeeding was on my body, on my mental health, on my sleep pattern, and me being a sleepy person as it is, like, it's crushed me. So as a person who goes in and out of moods, to other people that go in and out of moods, you are not alone. I am receiving this, that I am not alone, and that I have other people that are walking this journey with me. And I'm really hoping that we can have more conversations like this. Like, I want us to talk about mental health a lot more. I have my friend Brittany doing Mental Health Mondays because I dropped off on Mondays. So I'm going to be directing you guys to her page to talk to her on Mondays about mental health things. And then Wild Topic Wednesdays, we're coming back with crazy stuff. I mean, next week we might be talking about sex trafficking. The week after that, we might be talking about something else. So just stay tuned in with me. I did want to say a couple of things, though, regarding depression and people that aren't depressed on the outside looking in. How to check on your friend. You feel like your friend is depressed. My advice would be to not take their short answers for an answer. If your friend, you feel like your friend got something going on and they're not being 100% honest with you, and you want to know, and you want to be that friend to take the initiative to keep poking. Like me, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm okay, girl. What you doing? How you doing? Because I'm good for, don't worry about what I got going on. How you doing? And I will ask a million different questions trying to figure out how they're doing. Like, oh, how are you doing? I'm good. How are you doing? I'm straight. How's work? How's this? How's that? How's your mom? How's this? Like, I'm ask a million questions until you don't want to ask me questions about me. Or you now going into a whole tangent about something that happened at work or whatever. So now you're not asking me no questions. So be that person to go back and say, no, but how are you? Like, nah, but for real, how are you doing? Because if you don't do that to me, I'm not gonna share my life. I'm not gonna, for what? Because I feel like even if I do share, you're either not gonna care, it's not gonna be that serious, or you're not gonna listen. Like, I've literally spilled my heart to friends. I look over and they're like, wait, what you say? Oh, that's crazy. And I know for a fact they ain't been listening for 10 minutes. Or I'm the type of person like, oh, don't let me feel like you're not listening, because I just be like, never mind, forget it. Don't even worry about it. I'm straight.
That's the universal not listening statement.
What? That's crazy.
Word, that's crazy.
But that's like, who wants to spill their heart and hear that? So, like I said, poke at them until they give up the information, and that'll really show them that you care. And I will also say popping up on them. Pop up on them at their house if you really feel like something is going on. Because like I said, mine reflects in my housework and things that I do. So if you would to come to my house and I was depressed, you'd be like, yo, like, why you got so many dishes in the sink? Why your floor's dirty? Why this? Why that? Like, why you still in the same clothes you was wearing 3 days ago? Like, why? Like, that's an indicator. So sometimes you might have to make a house call on your friend to be like, I'm just checking to make sure you was alright, girl, because you ain't been texting me back. Like, but listen, don't pop up at my door. Don't pop up at my door. You do that to your other friends. Just don't do it to me, okay? I'm just kidding. If y'all pop up at my house, you pop up at my house. I'm probably going to be in here working, or if I'm depressed, I'll be on the couch watching Netflix. And then The third thing is when you pop up, offer to help them with something. If you do come to your friend's house and they're depressed and their house is a mess, offer to help them. Offer to help them wash the dishes. Offer to help them vacuum. Offer to help them fold those clothes. And then maybe while you're folding those clothes or you're washing those dishes or you're doing that thing where you're helping your friend, they'll be telling you what's going on. And they'll feel more open to share what they have going on instead of saying, I'm good. Because they'll have somebody that housework, it reflects from, I guess to say it reflects from all the crap that they're dealing with. So if it's that's all the crap that they're dealing with that they're leaving alone and they're not dealing with, once you finally get and you starting to deal with it, you got to deal with the rest of it too. So they might be more comfortable sharing at that point. And are you trying to give her to me? Or are you just trying to hang her over?
She was trying to see.
They might be more comfortable sharing those things. Another thing I could say is don't blame them for keeping it all together. There's nothing worse than putting on your happy face, your brave face every day and then being blamed for doing that. We do that. We put on our brave face for y'all. We do that to protect y'all from feeling like, oh, they're always sad. Or just from the questions, sometimes you don't want to tell nobody what's wrong. Maybe you're not ready yet. Maybe you're not ready to share yet. So you don't want to tell nobody what's wrong. So you act like ain't nothing wrong. So nobody asks you what's wrong. And when you're ready to talk, they will act sad. They will blatantly sulk so that they can get some type of sympathy. But me personally, I don't like to be blamed for keeping a smile on my face because sometimes that smile is what's keeping me alive. So don't blame me for keeping a smile on my face. I will also say be considerate of your word choice, tone, and being in your attentiveness. Like I was saying, presence is not help. Just because you are there does not mean that you are necessarily being there for your friend. Your presence is not what they need. They need verbal words of affirmation saying that you are there for them. You understand. You feel where they're coming from. There's nothing better than somebody telling me they feel where I'm coming from when I'm going through something. And word choice and tone, it's different to say, oh girl, that's what you worried about. We can get that fixed. Don't even worry about that. Than to say, why are you worried about that? That's not even that serious. You need to be worried about other stuff. Like there's a different way. There's a way you can say things without being hurtful or downplaying somebody's pain or making them feel like what they're worried about isn't that serious or whatever the case is. Your tone and your word choice could be the difference of somebody taking their life tonight or tomorrow because you didn't think that it was that serious or you didn't want to listen or whatever the case is. Like, be the difference, guys. Be the difference. Like, and I also want to say, if somebody is blatantly telling you, I have depression, I'm depressed, the worst thing you could ever do is make it seem like they're overreacting. There's been so many times I've seen, I have depression, damn, this depression is killing me, whatever, down my timeline, and there's no comments on it. There's no likes. There's no sad reactions. There's nothing. So what are these people supposed to do? If somebody is opening up enough to say, hey, I'm depressed, this depression is kicking my butt, and they don't even get a comment, they don't even get a like button to say, I'm here with you. What are we really doing as a community? That's where we get to when we have these statuses saying y'all don't really check up on y'all friends. Y'all ain't really for real about caring about y'all friends. Like, those are the type of things. So, like I said, my reason for doing these shows is so that we can become better people, parents, and partners together. So, as a collective, when it comes to depression, becoming better people, let's love each other, guys. Let's bring back love. Let's bring back companionship. Let's bring back fellowship. Let's bring back womanhood, motherhood, sisterhood. Like, let's bring that back, because if you don't, we're gonna lose so many people. And me personally, I'm tired of losing friends. I'm tired of losing friends to drugs. I've lost friends to heroin. I've lost friends to cocaine. I've lost friends to the police. I've lost friends to each other. And I feel like these situations and these angers and these actions that are reactions all stem from depressive situations. We have to be honest with ourselves. When you go out here and you kill somebody, you started out depressed. when you go out here and you hurt yourself, or you hurt an animal, you hurt a baby, you hurt somebody, you started wanting to hurt yourself, or you started hating yourself, or you started being a depressed person. So I just think that it would be a way better place if, number one, we could all realize that life is not a rush. I think a lot of less of us would be depressed. Like, we wouldn't be depressed if we understood that life wasn't a race. I feel like we're all competing against each other, but acting like we're not. And that's what keeps a lot of us depressed. But I also think that a lot of us aren't listening to ourselves in the beginning stages, and that's why we end up in situations where it's not safe health-wise, mental health-wise. So I just want to stress to everybody to take care of themselves. I'm over here trying to take care of me, and that's why, you know, I cut down my few days, because I have to realize that, you know, even when I have bad days, I'm allowed to have them. So doing the everyday show, being a person with depression, is hard for me, because there's some days where I'm at a low. And when I'm at a low, I can't get on here and be at a high with you guys. Like, I feel like I tried it one day, and then everything just went downhill. And I was just like, nope, I'm sick, my babies are sick, I have to take a break. And then I just realized, like, no, like, you were just trying to force yourself to wear a mask that wasn't ready to wear, like, on that day, that particular day. Yes, Tristan, she says that her son saved her, and she has her moments, and the moment Asher smiles, it all makes sense, and that breastfeeding is crazy, hormones are crazy, and having a baby is crazy. Like, yes, people don't realize how hard it really is to admit we're depressed, and I think that's the biggest problem. Like, if you're not depressed, you will never understand. It's like, you don't have kids, you will never understand. It's like, but we have to learn how to understand each other. Even as a mom, there's stresses that I have that I don't understand when people, single people with no kids, stress about stuff. I'm like, how, girl, that's all you worried about? Girl. But I also realize, like, that's bad. That's very hypocritical of me to downplay somebody else's issues. Whatever you feel like your issues are your issues. So to wrap it up, moral of the story is, no depression looks the same, no depression is the same, no depressed person is the same, and we don't need to treat it the same. Check on your friends. If you feel like they're deflecting you, poke at them. But don't scare them away. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't scare them away. Don't be like, I know something wrong with you. Like, that's not, we don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. Okay, so we're gonna say goodbye. Say peace, love, and blessings. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We are now lit on the YouTube. We have a camera now and a light. As y'all can see, I'm real lit. So we are growing. I have my special surprise for you guys, which is the launch of my new company, Mahogany Mama. That is going to be on September the 21st. So I'm hoping you guys are excited. Put your little pennies to the side with this hurricane and shop with your girl. So if you're waiting on that, it's going to be like baby stuff, really cute stuff. Even if you're not, like, you don't have a baby, you have a bigger baby, they're still mama shirts, and they're going to be so lit. I'm going to start wearing them as soon as I receive them, and I am so excited. Say goodnight, PJ. Hey. Say, I know, say hey, say hey. Hey. Say hey. Yeah, Gigi on here.
Ew.
Ew. What did you got that from before? That's gross. Okay. Peace, love, and blessings, guys. Until next time.